So the story is this, right? And maybe you guys have heard it or you heard some semblance of it, that we had the Civil War and we're like, oh, we have freed the slaves, right? I mean, I'll debate that issue as well, right? But we said that. And then the story is that a white man from the Union Army rode into Goulston, Texas, and he saw these slaves and he said, oh no, you poor things, like, you are free, let's go.
That visit from the general in Texas came 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation.
And then they followed the white man on the horse. The story seems incredulous, and it also seems like one of those myths that America likes to do. What we know about history is that slaves actively participated in their freedom. How I think we're now celebrating Juneteenth is not necessarily around the story, right? But around this idea that we did end slavery. And while we didn't do it smoothly,
Right.
while we haven't done it completely, let's celebrate the freedom. The way we talk about race in the US is woefully inadequate. If you're not curious to experience it with us, then how do we actually get inclusive?
Right. When you want to be an ally and you want to say, hey, look, I'm not a racist. Well, we've already probably had the discussion, all of us, that that's not enough. You got to be anti-racist. And so it's
right.
up to parents to let their children know, hey, look, this is what's acceptable, this is what's not acceptable. When you see what's not acceptable, call it out. I think that's a way to support Juneteenth.
That's a great way to support Juneteenth. The holiday is important for everybody.
Juneteenth is kind of a new thing. It's only been a federal holiday for 2 years now.
It's great that it's becoming recognized, like, oh, right, like, oh, it's always nice to be more visible when you're an invisible community.
What's tricky though, Malia, is that, once something becomes a federal holiday, that opens the door for some severe whitewashing versus going to where it is underground and where it actually is happening and taking part in it authentically.
And so I think it may also behoove us to use the day to learn about the systems we've created that we may actually be perpetuating by the very nature of the work we do.
To proclaim something and to say that something is so doesn't necessarily mean that it's so if you don't have the follow through, right? So this is, for me, the holiday is about the follow through.
I love that. And so what we wanted to do is to have a space where we could come together and learn about Juneteenth in a respectful and authentic way, have a conversation about what it means.
The fact that I can look out into an audience and see people of all different backgrounds, all different ages, that are open to listening and learning more about it. That's, those are the baby steps that we have to take. But if we just as a society collectively were just kind to each other, if everybody was just kind to everyone else and just had that as their baseline character trait, and we started there, I really feel like that would open up the pathways for more understanding, more compassion, more effective education.
It's conversations like this that help us recognize, like, okay, how do we do Juneteenth right? And there was one woman who, whenever I need to do it right, I call, and that is my elder, Valerie Stevens.
I think that we are still looking for that sweet land called freedom. I know I will never see it in my lifetime. I know that. I've accepted that. Yeah, that's a reality. And that's okay, it is what it is. My job is to pass down the knowledge that I have in order to help someone else stand tall on the shoulders on which they stand. That's my job. Ain't gonna lay